So I wanted to make a new video with all the current news and updates on RGBA. We got Mikey Garcia. He was going to do a 4-round exhibition with Erick Morales. It sounds from his last live that he was on, it will not be Erick Morales. He will still be doing an exhibition, but it sounds like Erick Morales is not available. They've moved the date a couple times. It was originally May 18th, and then it got moved to June 8th, and now the 9th. So last thing Mikey said was it probably will not be Erick Morales, but the event is still scheduled to be in Riverside. This flyer here has the May 18th date on it, but officially it's June 9th. It will be in a ranch a couple miles from the RGBA gym in Riverside. It sounds like they're going to be putting the boxing ring inside of a bull ring, and it sounds like it's a festival where from 3 to 6 there'll be lots of vendors and food and music, and then the first official bout will start at 6. And there's tons of fighters clearly from RGBA available to fight. All the proceeds will be going to support Team Colunga and Izaac in his journey to recovery. If you want to follow more news on the event, you can follow Mikey at his Instagram page at Team Mikey Garcia. Abner Mares, 31-3-1, had a detached retina in February during sparring. He had to pull out of the Tank Davis fight, and then he just said that he was at the Canelo fight doing some commentary, and he said that that hopefully he could be in the gym soon. If you want to follow him, he's at Abner Mares Official. Josesito Lopez, 36-8, was seen in the gym on I believe it was on EsNews there in Riverside. There are no updates on him. 36-8. He had a very good fight with Keith One-Time Thurman at the Barclays in January. If you want to follow him, he's at Jose Lopez on Instagram. Jose Carlos Ramirez, 24-0, 16 knockouts. He's promoted by Top Rank. He co-promoted with Rick Meridian and Top Rank. Possible opponents for him are Regis Prograis and Maurice Hooker. He is an Olympian from 2012. If you want to follow him, he's at JC Ramirez 2012. He is the current WBC 140 champion. Jose Carlos Ramirez, 24-0, 16 knockouts from Avenal, California. Brandon Bam Bam Rios unofficially retired in February versus Humberto La Zorrita Soto, but he has been seen on his social media doing mitt work with Jody Cuate from Oxnard. So hopefully we will get another fight from him. He sounds like he signed a 3-fight deal with Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing, which he's already fought 2. One was with El Inocente Alvarez, Canelo's brother in Kansas, and then the fight in Tijuana in February. So officially he would have one more fight on that contract. Brandon Bam Bam Rios, 35-5-1. Pretty much his entire career with Robert, minus one fight that he did with Ricky from 10 Goose Boxing. So if you want to follow him and see all the updates on him, he's at Brandon Rios 1. Esquiva Falcao, 23-0, 15 knockouts. He had a fight in Brazil, March 31st. Robert was out there for pretty much 5 or 6 days. He won, and it sounds like he's in line for a title fight at 160. So if you want to follow him, he's at Esquiva Falcao. He's not managed by Robert, but he has trained with Robert probably since the beginning of his career, which was probably around 2012. So Esquiva Falcao, 23-0, 15 knockouts, promoted by Top Rank, trains with Robert, managed by somebody else. Esquiva Falcao on Instagram if you want to follow him. Erick DeLeon, 19-0 with 1 draw, 10 knockouts. He is from Detroit, Michigan, and he fought in Costa Mesa at the Hangar in March, and he tweeted recently that he's been fighting at the Division 130 for 10 years now. So Erick DeLeon, undefeated fighter, fights for Top Rank. He is out of Detroit, Michigan. If you want to follow him, he's at Team DeLeon 1. Traditionally, he fights twice a year. Joshua El Profesor Franco improves to 15-1-1. He is the new WBA International Champion and the NABF Champion. He beat the fight he had with the rematch with I'm drawing a blank on his name. I'm looking at him on the screen right now. He's Colombian. Wow, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Joshua El Profesor Franco, 15-1-1. Is it Oscar Negrete? I think that's it. If you want to follow Josh, he is at @1Professor Franco on Instagram. He's also on Twitter. He is from San Antonio. He is fighting under Golden Boy Promotions. So that fight took place at Fantasy Springs in Indio, California on Thursday Night Fights. So look out for him. I believe he fights at 118, which is the bantamweight. And he is the older brother to Jessie Rodriguez. So Joshua Profesor Franco, 15-1-1 from San Antonio. At @1Professor Franco. Hector Tanajara, 17-0 with 5 knockouts. His last fight was in February when he won the WBC youth title in Tijuana, along with stablemate Alexis Espino and Brandon Bam Bam Rios. So he improved to 17-0. He is also out of San Antonio. He's also a Golden Boy Promotions fighter. There you see him in a picture with his dad, Hector Tanajara Sr. If you want to follow him, he's at Hector_Tanajara. If you want to follow his dad, it's at Tanajara_Hector, just the reverse. So from RGBA San Antonio, Hector Tanajara. Jonathan Thunder Navarro just got married. He was posting some pictures. Him and Pita was posting pictures as well. 16-0, 8 knockouts. I believe he fights at 140. He is another fighter along with Josh and Hector that is promoted by Golden Boy Promotions. Golden Boy Promotions gave 3 contracts to Robert in the year of 2015, and those are the 3 fighters that fight with Golden Boy. So if you want to follow him, he's at Jonathan Navarro _16. He is from East Los Angeles. I believe he fights at 140. Carlos Licona, 14-1, 2 knockouts. He lost his last fight, so he lost the 2 titles that he had. I believe he had the WBO Latino and he had the IBF strap. So Robert is looking for another title fight for him. His sister was scheduled to fight this weekend in Tijuana, and it sounds like the opponent fell through, so she was not able to get her fight, Lina Licona. She goes by the nickname Cookie, so hopefully she can get on that card there on June 9th on that Sunday under Garcia Promotions. We'll see. And like I mentioned earlier, Robert is trying to get him another big fight. Carlos Licona from Westminster, California, Orange County, 14-1 with 2 knockouts. He goes on Instagram by Mexicanito12. Vergil Ortiz Jr. Wow, what a performance. I am not only impressed with his 3rd round knockout of Mauricio Herrera, but I am so impressed with his press conference speech. He gave a shout out to his team, specifically Hector Beltran and also Pitagarcia. And then he also mentioned how much love he has for his dad. He mentioned that his dad and him have made his style in honor of legend Miguel Cotto, who happened to be in the audience. He even asked Eddie Hearn for a fight with Maurice Hooker, who holds a title at 140. I was just thoroughly impressed with Vergil Ortiz. Him and Josh and some of the other silent killers from RGBA, sometimes when they get set on the big stage, it's kind of hard for them to, they're not really vocal and they're not cocky. But I was so impressed by Vergil's speech at the end. He kind of said, I've been up here too long and I spoke too much. But I thought it was perfect. It was the biggest stage on the zone. The whole world was watching. And I tweeted about it. I put 2 tweets out about it because I was so excited today. And I just hope nothing but the best for this kid. He is from Grand Prairie, Texas, the Dallas area. I believe originally he was being moved by Joel Diaz. He is promoted by Golden Boy Promotions, and about 3 or 4, maybe even 5 fights ago, he made the move from Indio over to Riverside. So he has adjusted very well. His dad is his main coach, and then they got the strength and conditioning coach. Not just his strength and conditioning coach Hector, but he also does a lot of mitt work with Hector. He does a lot of mitt work with Pita Garcia, Robert's son. But during the preparation for the fight, Robert definitely stepped in the role of preparing him and getting him mentally ready to get into the ring. So Vergil Ortiz, 13-0, 13 knockouts. His first fight at 147, he got a 3rd round knockout of Mauricio Herrera, who's never been stopped. It was a beautiful punch. The ref stopped him, just got in between the fighters and called the fight. So if you want to follow him, he's at Vergil Ortiz. I believe his dad is at Vergil Ortiz Sr., but definitely no longer a prospect, but definitely a contender. So Vergil Ortiz Jr. Joseph Adorno, 12-0, 10 knockouts, the most active fighter with 6 fights in 2018 out of RGBA. He is from Allentown, Pennsylvania. He is a top-ranked fighter, and then his little brother Jeremy Adorno just got signed to top rank as well. So Joseph Adorno, 12-0, 10 knockouts. I believe he fights at 130, possibly 135, and I think he's at 130 along with Erick DeLeon. So if you want to follow him, he's at Real Joseph Adorno. He goes by Blessed Hands. At Real Joseph Adorno on Instagram. He's Puerto Rican. John El Terrible Bauza, 12-0, 5 knockouts. He fought last in March. He fights at 140. So if you want to follow him, he's at Real John Bauza. There's Lee Samuels from Top Rank along with Robert Garcia in that picture. So just recently added to RGBA. So if you want to follow him, at Real John Bauza. Louie Coria, 11-2. Shout out to Cumbia, the official Team RGBA photographer. I tagged him on that picture. That looks like it's at the Dallas under the Spence Garcia match. He is scheduled to be on Legends Collide there in Riverside at the outdoor venue on that Sunday. 11-2-0. I believe he's from Moreno Valley. He also, I believe, was training with Joel Diaz and has made the move over to Robert Garcia. So if you want to follow him, he's at King Louis 416, 11-2-0. I believe he fights at 135. And he fights under the banner of Mikey Garcia Promotions and Garcia Promotions. Alejandro Guerrero, 10-0, 9 knockouts. He had a wonderful performance there at the Southern Junction nightclub in Irving, Texas, the night before Mikey Garcia fought Errol Spence. And then I believe he's scheduled to fight again at the same event, July 13th, with Alejandro Brothers and another fighter, Gaitan. So if you want to follow him, he's at porkchop_214. I believe he fights at 135. Also fights under the promotion of Garcia Promotions and Mikey Garcia. Alejandro Porkchop Guerrero, 10-0 from Irving, Texas. At porkchop_214 if you want to follow him. Misael El Chino Rodriguez, 9-0, 4 knockouts. He is one of 2 fighters with RGBA Riverside that is promoted by Richard Schaefer's Ringstar Sports. He was out of the boxing ring for 6 months as he was part of a kind of like a reality sports TV show in Mexico called Exalton. Came back in extreme condition, but has not landed a fight since. So there was talks of him even fighting as low as 147. He had done so well training in that reality show, but based on a few videos that are out there of him in Riverside, he might be easily back up to 154 or 160 where he normally was before he even did the reality show. So if you want to follow him, he's at Misael, O-T-E-E, Misaelote. I believe he's from Chihuahua. Ringstar Sports. Jessie Bam Rodriguez, 9-0, 5 knockouts. No updates on him. He also fought on the Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence fight card. There you see him with his dad to the left, Robert on the right. If you want to, he is the little brother to Joshua Franco. He is the only RGBA fighter signed to Tekken Promotions. He fights, I believe, at 108. So what's that? Mini flyweight. But he has 9 knockouts. He has been in there with fighters that are featherweights. He spars with his brother, Josh Franco, who's at 118. So this left-handed hitter, definitely is one of the biggest stars out of RGBA, San Antonio. So if you want to follow him, he's at 210 Bam, Jessie Bam Rodriguez, little brother to Joshua Franco. Lindolfo Delgado, 9-0, 9 knockouts. I believe he's from Linares, Nuevo León. He is the other fighter that fights with Ringstar Sports. The photo critic here to Cumbia, looks like there he is with the Big G and RGBA trainer Chepe Contreras. He landed on he got a TV spot on the pay-per-view They were trying. It looked like they were trying to do like a filler, since one of the fights ended faster than they probably thought. So he got TV time on the biggest fight card, one of the biggest fight cards of the year. So Lindolfo Delgado, 9-0, 9 knockouts. Excuse me. If you want to follow him, he's at Lindolfo Delgado from Linares, Nuevo León. And it sounds like he has a fight date of June 1st in Linares, Nuevo León. So Lindolfo Delgado, 9-0, 9 knockouts. Genaro El Conde Gamez will be fighting, I believe it's a Thursday, May 16th at the Fantasy Springs Casino in Indio. He's promoted by Fantasy Spring. He's promoted by Golden Boy Promotions. 8-0, 5 knockouts. He trains in San Diego. It looks like he got some training there with Oscar Valdez at the Canelo Gym there in Sorrento Valley in San Diego. So good for him. Trying to stay in shape. I think he made the move from 135 to 140. Genaro El Conde Gamez, 8-0, 5 knockouts. If you want to follow him, he's at Genaro Gamez. Brandon Bulletproof Glanton, 8-0, 7 knockouts. His last win was in January on the Josesito Lopez versus Keep Time Thurman card. I believe he fights at 175. He has fought above 200. So he is a fighter out of Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised out of Atlanta, Georgia. He fights under the banner of Mikey Garcia Promotions. If you want to follow him, he's at Team Bulletproof. Brandon Glanton, 8-0. Isidro Ochoa was scheduled to fight in Stockton on the top-ranked card with Gabe Flores Jr. Unfortunately, something happened, and I don't know if it was on his side based on an injury or maybe his opponent bowed out, but he's 7-0 with 3 knockouts. He didn't get to fight May 4th. He was there in Riverside sparring, and he was there in Riverside making weight. Unfortunately, he was not able to fight there at the Stockton card, which would have been great exposure for him with over 10,000 fans, but unfortunately it didn't happen. So if you want to follow him, he's at IGO_Ochoa. He fights for Top Rank. Aaron Morales, 6-0, 3 knockouts. He was the second busiest fighter of RGBA Riverside in 2018. He had 5 fights in 9 months. So he has been added to Legends Collide there in Riverside. So hopefully we get to see him. Aaron Morales, 6-0 from Oklahoma City. He is at Aaron _Morales with 3 S's on Morales. Great Danger Muratalla, 7-0, 5 knockouts from Fontana, California. He had a fight on the Danny Garcia versus Adrian Granados card, April 20th. And then hopefully he lands as well on Legends Collide there in Riverside. So if you want to follow him, he's at Ray _Muratalla1. He's from Fontana, part of RGBA Riverside. Brian Lua, 5-0, 2 knockouts. We have no updates on him. Another top-ranked fighter fighting under the stable at Brian _Lua. If you want to follow him, I believe he's from Fresno, I believe. Ruben Rodriguez, 6-0, 2 knockouts. He has been the most active fighter. I think he's scheduled to fight 4 times in 6 months. He fought March 9th on the Porter versus Ugas. He had already fought in January. He fought on the Loma card in Staples Center. So he is being moved very, very fast. He's from Indio, California. Ruben Rodriguez, 6-0, 2 knockouts. If you want to follow him, he's at RubenNR_. Breenan B-Fly Macias, 3-0 with 1 draw, 2 knockouts. He was scheduled to fight on that May 18th, but then the date changed over to June 9th. So we don't know if he's going to be on the card. Hopefully he is. He just posted something yesterday that some fight news coming soon. So hopefully we get to see him on Legends Collide. If you want to follow him, he's at B_FLY301, at B_Fly301. He is from Goodyear, Arizona. He is also fighting in the Phoenix area. He is also fighting under the Mikey Garcia Promotions banner. So Breenan B-Fly Macias, one of the top prospects out of RGBA Riverside. Robert Vergil Rodriguez, 3-0. He was 2-0, and then he had a 9-10 month layoff. I think he had an injury, but he was able to get on the Mikey Garcia versus Aerospace fight card. Photo credit to Cumbia. All these pictures are from Cumbia, the official team photographer. I try to tag him on the ones that I know are officially his. Robert Vergil Rodriguez out of San Antonio, 3-0. If you want to follow him, he's at BiggieJR_. I believe he fights at 112, the same weight as B-Fly. Izaac Colunga, 3-0, 2 knockouts. He successfully arrived in Denver, Colorado to a hospital, a rehabilitation facility. He suffered a gunshot wound to the neck, so he's been paralyzed. Yeah, he's been a victim of a drive-by shooting. All the proceeds from the June 9th event will be to support him. He is a local fighter from Riverside. He had his 2 fights at the Rancho Mirage out there in a casino, and then he fought on January 18th there on Prospects Collide in San Bernardino. So if you want to follow news on him, you can follow his mom at Carrie Colunga. You can follow his aunt at Shelly_Shell on Instagram as well, and his brother's name is Gunny, and his Instagram is Gunny, and then there's I don't have it memorized, but you can follow him there as well at team_Colunga. He just celebrated, I believe, his 25th birthday. Izaac Colunga from Colton, California. God bless him. Alexis El Macizo Espino improves to 2-0 with 1 knockout. That's a typo. He went 4 rounds. So he's 2-0 with 1 knockout. He fights under Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing, along with Brandon Bam Bam Rios. So he had an impressive outing. He got deducted a point, and I believe in the 2nd round for hitting his partner hitting his opponent after he was already down. But he got the victory. And there you see him in a picture with David Benavidez. If you want to follow him, he's at _Alexis Espino 1. Evan Sanchez, he is part of the Central Valley RGBA. He fought in Tijuana March 30th and got a win. He's 4-0 with 2 knockouts. He fights at 147. You can follow him at Real Evan Sanchez. Jeremy Magic Hands Adorno, this is the little brother to Joseph Adorno. He's 1-0. He had his pro debut March 30th. More news coming on him at Magic Hands _Jeremy if you want to follow him. One of the newest additions to RGBA Riverside is Caballo Bronco Adames. He fights at 154. He fought on the top ranked card on ESPN on the Crawford versus Khan card. He won by TKO in a minute into the 4th round. He is 17-0 with 14 knockouts. He is the NABF and NABO champion. So if you want to follow him, he's at Caballo Bronco on Instagram. So added to Legends Collide on June 9th on Sunday is undefeated 16-0 Jose Vivas from Texcoco, Mexico. And then not officially, but we have Louie, B-Fly, Ray, Mike Danny Sanchez, and recently Robert Biggie Rodriguez and Aaron Morales added to the card. Originally, Lina Tuki Licona was on there, but she tried to get a fight over the weekend in Tijuana, which didn't go through, so hopefully she gets back on here. B-Fly sounds, based on his life, sounds like it's not official that he's on this card, but hopefully he does get on here. So a very stacked card there in Riverside on June 9th by Garcia Promotions. So officially through the 1st quarter, January, February, and March, RGBA was 23-4-1. And now they've improved in the 2nd quarter to 6-0 with a win by Joshua Franco and now Alexis and Vergil in Las Vegas over the weekend. So they have for 2019, they got a record of 29-4-1. So in my opinion, they're scheduled for 100 wins in 2019, which is unheard of. So photo credit to the official photographer of Team RGBA at Cumbia with the @A_, and to all the Instagram pages of the fighters, the trainers, and the managers who post updated pictures on their IGs to allow us to keep updated on Team RGBA, especially Elie Setback with EsNews, Rainbow at TS by Rainbow, Marcos Villegas at FightHype, Frank Silva at Frantic_1, Cumbia, who goes live all the time, the official photographer, and then there was also FightHype, I believe, Constantino Garcia, to get more updated news since Elie was out on vacation. So shout out to all those entities that put out content to help us have all the latest news on RGBA Riverside, RGBA San Antonio, Central Valley RGBA. Please like and subscribe. I'm Sontel Media on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter at Sontel_Media. You can follow me on Instagram at Sontel_Media.